7 signs you need a coach, my friend. Here are the 7 signs that most of us are missing because we're just not taught to look at ourselves as athletes or elite performers. But let me tell you some things that you may or may not have noticed. But since you're in my corner of the world, I'd love to share with you what you're missing. So, you are on your journey of becoming your best self. And this is something that we're all working towards because what we want is more ease, right? Don't you want more ease? And when you think about ease, what comes to your mind? Where are you in a year's time when it comes to what's making things really hard for you? How do you see that moving away from that? How do you see yourself moving away from what's making things really hard right now? And what sort of work might you have to put into it so that you can actually get there next year? Now, a naive mind will go, you know what? As soon as I make a certain dollar amount, all my problems will go away. Well, surprise, surprise, it's not the solution, and we all know why, right? Because it's the person that's going to use the money that's going to determine the kind of results they can create. And let me explain what I mean by that. So, if you're a kind of person who is experiencing a certain kind of problem at the moment and you're just wanting freedom from it, like a lot of women come to me with the problem of procrastination. Being that they sit on their idea for a while, or they're too fearful or confused to take action, and they just get stuck in that analysis paralysis, and then they get tired by whatever else is going on, and then they get stuck and then they stay stuck, right? And what they don't realize is that they are just consumed by the problem right now. And they think that, oh, if I just had the problem go away, I'd be free and I'd be living like a queen next year, right? That's what I see for myself. I'll be most confident, etc. But what we don't realize without, going on this journey is that we need to become a different version of ourselves to be free of this sort of problem next year. There's a reason why we are experiencing this level of confusion, stuckness, and maybe repetitive results that keep happening. And that's because that is how we're playing it at the moment. It's not what's happening on the outside, and it's all about how we are experiencing it. And so whether this problem gets solved by some magical external forces or not, next year the same things will happen, and the same things will grab our attention and hold us back because we didn't learn the skill, we didn't step up to solve the problem from its root cause. Okay, so can you imagine whatever's making life hard for you right now going away next year, and what sort of work you might need to put into that, and how you're going to make sure you do it. So this is why I want to show you 7 signs that you might be missing that you need to consider to start working with a coach. Now, just like you who's listening, who's never invested in a coach, I too used to be one of those people who, I never even knew that a coach could exist for a normal person, right? And the reason why I say this is because back in the day, I never thought that coaches could help people in business or in jobs or careers, right? They had different titles in my era. But until I learned that there are professional coaches that can help you. And so I realized that normally coaches will help us enhance our performance, and through a methodical approach to mapping out what sort of success we want to create for ourselves. So just by that first example I shared, if I'm experiencing some problems, which back then, I've shared this story many times, where I was in my 5th year of my business and I had started as a self-funded person, right? I didn't borrow money from anyone or the bank. I was using my savings that I had accumulated over the previous 10 years to start the next phase of my life. And slowly I realized, because I had no clue about how to run a business properly, I was actually going nearly broke. Plus, energy-wise, I was really feeling exhausted because I had no idea about who I was being in my business. So that's when I met my coach, but not under the label of a coach. This was just a method on how I could create the next solution, right? That's how I became familiar with, oh my God, this is a performance coach. So of course I call myself a self-mastery coach because I teach what I have learned over the last 15 years. I've invested hundreds and thousands of dollars and hours to learn what have been the most important things that have been taught everywhere. And I've brought together the formula basically to start with and maintain throughout, to be able to keep moving through each phase of our life and stages of our life as we upgrade. So sign number one that I saw was I had some problems in my business and my energy, right? And these two things were really important because that was the way I was earning money. Plus, that was the way I was sharing my gifts. And I was also a full-time yoga practitioner and really focused on, making it all about my spiritual journey. So these are the problems that I was facing, and I knew that I needed to keep going, but at that time I had no answers for it, right? I just didn't know how to come out of it. So sign number one is that there is no one to support you in your world with the problems that you're going through. And why a coach is the perfect person for you instead of a therapist is because the problems that you're having in your life that are not helping you succeed, right? There is a level of thinking that you can adopt that can help you take the next step. It can also include a therapist, but also to keep you moving forward and find a resourceful way of moving forward is best done with a transformational coach. Second sign is you're not sharing your gifts with the world because you're too busy sharing your skills with the world, or maybe you're improving your skills, right? So when we are all about, I get to do what I love while I'm doing this as a job, we're not really effectively sharing our gift. Rather, it is a skill. Okay, so hear me out. So when I was first starting to teach yoga, this was me getting better at teaching yoga. So that's a developing of my skill, and people learning how to practice yoga from learning how to do it from me. It was a very skill-based action for myself. It was only when I overcame, or when I claimed my next level to teach people how to become teachers, that's when I started sharing my gift. Because I had to level up in the way I operated my business. I wasn't teaching all the classes, and I was actually sharing just that. I wasn't doing normal classes as well as teaching a course, which was all about developing other people to become like me, right? And that is a gift, right? Gift versus a skill. Of course, there has a skill component to it because that propels the person to go and develop that skill on their own as well. But the gift in itself is that belief, the conviction that this is a way you can also create change in other people's lives, right? And that shows that you've done the time, you've up-leveled, you've seen improvements in your life, and that is your gift to the world. That is, you are the living testament. You are the product. You are the example that they can follow. Of course, they're going to need to put the time in, right? The same thing with coaches, right? You need to hire a coach or partner with a coach that can help you go from this operating level to the next year's operating level. So they don't need to be a multimillionaire. They don't need to be a superior being, but they need to have solved this problem for themselves that you're going through to be able to take you to the next year's level, right? Because then you're going to see it the way they coach you. They're going to be able to help you become more and more efficient because they've done that journey themselves, right? That's the sign you need to look for, that, okay, I need to look at my problems. What sort of problems am I having? And then, I can take this step with this coach because they've done it already. You can see that in their bio. You can see that in their, social media, or to see them, do a bit of research on them. Maybe you've got some people that know them, right? Referrals. Sign number 3 is maybe you've got no one supporting you in your life. So a story that comes to my mind about this is a lot of us, especially independent women, we've grown up knowing that our independence is all about how well we can do things on our own. And so going back to my days when I first started my journey as an entrepreneur, I didn't have the support network around me to actually be sharing about what's going on for me. And so I wasn't growing. I was just doing the job every day, right? To keep growing as a skill-based person. But what it came down to was that without me having someone to bounce back off and getting real mentorship or getting guidance, I was actually bottlenecking my abilities and my talents to just making things make do every day. So an attitude that I had was, well, I've got it sorted, I've got this, right? But I didn't know the value of having support of people that got me. And that means, these people are doing that themselves, right? It's good to find people that are doing similar things as you to be able to talk to. So it's not that your current family, friends, and circles or networks are wrong or they're inadequate. No, if you're not doing similar things to them, it's not going to be a safe space for you to be sharing or being understood or being heard for what you're really going through, right? So this is where a coach can come in really handy as you're trying to build your new network into new spaces, new areas of your life. Sign number 4 is you're getting overlooked by others. So maybe you want to do superior things, like the next level things, but you're not getting noticed, right? You're not really getting the space to be your best self. So this is showing that there is a belief system there that is stopping you from shining. And because this is a longer conversation, I'd invite you to go and check out my other videos on fears, beliefs, and also go into the mindset videos, the playlist, to look into what this is that's playing itself out, where you might feel like your value is not appreciated by others, right? You're really not being seen for your gifts, your growth, and your fullest self. So you find it hard that people appreciate you. Instead, you find that people are a little bit like, yeah, okay, I know, but, good on you, sort of thing. What you want, a true testament for people really valuing you, is when they want to work with you, right? They want to pay you to work with you, and they want to take you out, and they want to ask you questions. That's when you are really seen for who you are. And of course, in friendships, you can have friendships that are aligned when you get into similar networks and, communities where you are working on similar things, development of yourself. So, hope I made sense with that one. Sign number 5 is you've been blindsided, right? And you just want to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Maybe you've come across, people that are wearing masks and they're not saying who they are and they're being devious, Maybe you've had those experiences where you feel betrayed. And once again, this is very common because when we are not really clear about who we need in our life, then we're kind of, attracting mixed bag of people. Also, the fact that you find that to be the case with a lot of people coming along your way who blindside you, that says that there are some things in your rear view mirror that you can't see, right? Maybe your angle needs to change. So a coach can help you look at what you're not seeing at the moment about what you value, who you want to bring in, who you need to release, and how you can do that. Because we might know who we don't want to attract or who we don't want to be friends with, but do we know how to make that transition? Do we know how to raise our value in wherever we are, right? It is a matter of raising our value so that we can start having more high quality people come through. Plus, not saying these shady people or experiences won't happen, rather you'll have a different approach to handling them instead of letting them affect you and your self-esteem and question yourself. Now, by just hearing that, if this is resonating with you, because this is like kind of a developmental thing, so a coach can help you look at how to actually make the transition by holistically creating a plan to work on yourself so that you can start maturing in being a better relationship manager in your life, right? Sign number 6 is you're great and making your ends meet, but wonder if you could have more. Okay, so obviously money, wealth is a measure by which we all can measure how well we're doing as far as our efforts go and monetization go and our service and impact goes, right? Because if you're in business and you're not making any sales, then it's not a business, it's a hobby. And so that's why it's really important to see how much money are you making, and is it just making your ends meet, not just through your business, maybe overall, how is that for you at the moment? Maybe your needs are being met, but is there something bigger for you? Perhaps that's out of sight for you right now because your mindset could be getting in the way to think that that's all you can have. As long as my needs are met, I'm happy with that. You've heard those sayings, right? But what if there was another possibility where you didn't have to work as much, or you could create more with what you have, or maybe you could learn new skills or expose a belief system that might not be serving you to create this, as long as I have my needs met, then I'm all right kind of a thing. It's sort of, not really the language of people that are wanting to contribute more in other people's lives, right? The language of people that want to make bigger contribution to other people's lives is that they are striving to find better ways. They are striving to have more for themselves so that they can give and contribute more to others in their lives. And lastly, sign number 7 is you want to challenge yourself to level up in life. Now, if you want to challenge yourself to level up in life, how might you know this, right? So many of you have been researching things that you now have every freebie from every person on the internet, but you find yourself still thinking, well, what's the next step for me? Nothing seems to work. And you also find excuses like, no, I don't have enough money, or no, I don't think that'll work for me, right? So there are all these answers in your mind already that goes against challenging yourself. So Another way to look at it is look at the stage you're in on your journey. You're not going to always be able to take the next step, which means take action to commit yourself, because you just don't have enough information. And that's fair. That's good. That's intelligent. But how much information is going to be enough for you to make a decision to take the next step and get committed? So the experts actually say that 70% is enough. When you go and have a need for more than 70%, like some people, I even do this on my website, where 14-day money back guarantee is to talk to those people that actually need 100% money back guarantee to be able to take the next best step. The thing about this is the need for so much certainty to be able to take the next step is not really a challenge, is it? Because what you're really saying silently is that nothing's going to work for me, so everything's going to end up in a failure, right? So if this is you and you're not challenging yourself to take the next step because you've got 70% information and now you're just stalling, then you need to challenge yourself. And challenging yourself doesn't mean that you go and take the next erratic step. Go ahead and ask yourself, knowing what I know now about myself, right? What's the next best logical step for me, right? You must challenge yourself because it's an inherent need for you to maintain your integrity as a leader, as a provider, as an impact maker, is to always grow. Right? It is through growing that we find meaning in our life, and it is through our experiences of challenging ourselves that we find what to do next. So I always like to use this example of plants and trees that grow up in the outside, right? In nature, versus plants that we grow indoors, right? If you look at the way these plants grow, right? Are they protected from nature's wrath? No, it's actually they grow through the adversities and challenges that nature brings for their journey. And unlike plants, we can actually move and change our decisions. But what decisions we need to change will only become clear once we take the next step. That's why you need to see, okay, if you've actually consumed this whole video of mine, right? What is the next step I'm asking you to take, right? So if you've been following some person so far, what is the next step they are asking you to take? Take that, challenge yourself to go and take that step and see what that brings you, what level of clarity that brings you for your journey. Because until you do that, you're really just hoarding information, which is clogging up your mind, and you're being a fence sitter. And a fence sitter is not going to is actually diminishing your self-esteem silently. So you might need to see a coach to be able to work through that. And of course, if you are needing more certainty, the next step for you to take from this video is you go ahead and join my Facebook group to go ahead and check out the free trainings that I run and attend the next training for free. Risk-free, right? Are you going to do that? Are you going to challenge yourself to go through with that so that you can stay accountable on your journey to receive the results that you're looking for receiving? So the 7 signs you need a coach, once again, is number 1, you're feeling stuck. Sign number 2 is you're not sharing your gifts, you're sharing your skill. Number 3, no one is supporting you in your cause. Number 4, you're getting overlooked by those around you. You're not being appreciated. Number 5, you're being blindsided and you're in defense mode. You're playing defense, right? Most of the time. Number 6, you're good at making ends meet and wondering what else is possible for you. And number 7, you are ready to challenge yourself to level up in your life. So I hope this has added value to you, the next step on this journey is as simple as joining a free Facebook group from me, where I am sharing with you tools to actually implement with workbooks and resources that will help you deepen your understanding about yourself and taking the next best step on this self-growth journey. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. See you at the next one.